Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
A double dose to start this week here in South Texas. Cold and wet. Temperatures in the low 40s this morning. So what about tomorrow with trick-or-treating right around the corner? Let's get right to meteorologist Sarah Spivey. Sarah, that's the big question this week. Plus, how long is all this going to last?
That's a great question, Myra. Now, the first thing to know is that by the time the kids go trick-or-treating tomorrow, it's not going to be rainy, so at least there's that. It's still going to be chilly, though. Here's a look at highs today. We got up to 46 degrees in San Antonio. That's nearly 30 degrees. It's more than 30 degrees below the average. In fact, today was our coldest day across South Central Texas since February 2nd, 270 days ago. So we just skipped right over fall and went straight to winter today. And as I mentioned, the good news is the rain is coming to an end. We are seeing rain exit from Seguin toward Gonzales and Luling. And by the way, we needed the rain. We got up to about half an inch of rain across many places around San Antonio, but that rain is exiting. So looking ahead to the forecast, you will need the sweaters until about Friday. That's when sweaters are going to stop becoming useful. As for Halloween, again, chilly but dry for Halloween and trick-or-treating. And then finally, something I want to talk about in the forecast is that the Hill Country will likely see its first freeze on Wednesday morning. More details on which neighborhoods will experience that freeze coming up.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you, Sarah. Let's take a look at traffic out there right now. I-10 at Probant. You can see the roads are still wet in this view, certainly contributing to what's causing that slowdown there and the lanes coming towards the camera, but thankfully no big tie-ups elsewhere to tell you about. A man's body was found as San Antonio firefighters responded to a house fire on the southeast side today. This happened around 3 this afternoon at a duplex on Meeks Avenue near East South Cross. Fire Chief Charles Hood says a man was found dead near a couch. Crews also said they could not find any working smoke detector in the home. Still no word on what caused that fire. A current TikTok trend may be to blame for a high-speed crime that landed a teenager in jail in New Braunfels. 17-year-old Junior Campus was arrested after allegedly stealing a Kia Sorento in San Antonio and crashing it. Car thefts like this one are becoming more and more common, and Danielle Ibarra shows us how a social media trend may be why.
2 weeks ago, Alexis Radicke's car barely had a scratch. Now, it's totaled.
How does it feel? Horrible, a little bit violated.
9 days ago, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office says thieves stole her 2019 Kia Optima out of her driveway.
Less than 48 hours later, Radicke says she got her car back just with lots of damage. The rim right here scratched up and the window busted out.
BCSO says the thieves dumped her things. All that's left of her 3-month-old son's car seat is a cut-off strap.
I think they estimated that the damages caused were almost $13,000 worth of damage.
Radicke says the damage is tough to look at.
I just started laughing and they asked why, and I said, if I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry.
She says deputies believe her car became a target of a TikTok trend. It challenges people to steal Kias and Hyundais.
It's been very popular lately, so it's been very crazy. The cops actually told me that the only way to prevent this from happening again is just not to have that car anymore.
Radicke says she doesn't know if deputies have caught her car thieves.
And it's just going to keep happening till they actually start holding these kids accountable for their actions.
Danielle Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police tell us that the 5 out of the top 10 stolen cars in September were Kias. The top stolen car was a Hyundai Elantra. A man is accused of killing 2 people and injuring 3 others at a Halloween party over the weekend. Raul Trevino III was booked into the Bexar County Jail this morning. He's charged with capital murder of multiple people and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The shooting happened Saturday night on Rosalind Avenue near Gaynor Street on the west side. San Antonio police say there was an argument between someone at that party and a neighbor, and then shots were fired. A 40-year-old man and 35-year-old woman were killed. A 13-year-old girl was one of the people injured. Officers say the gun used was found there at the house. San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers are asking for help finding 4 people who were accused of killing a woman at a car wash. SAPD says that Megan Summer Renee Turner was shot October 18th at a car wash on North Foster Road. Officers say Turner was killed after 3 people fired several shots into her SUV. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. A beloved staple on San Antonio's south side closed its doors after 50 years in business. Our Jonathan Cotto went to TJ's Hamburgers as customers who were expecting lunch today were met with a farewell.
It's devastating because I love it here and I love their food here.
After decades, TJ's Hamburgers has closed its doors.
Their burgers are really good. They have really cheap food, for a good price. That's why I came all the way over here for my break.
The Southside staple on West South Cross Boulevard was known for its classic menu of burgers, hot dogs, and fries. Its popularity was enough to bring people from across the city.
The northeast side, and they're closed. I just want some chili cheese fries and a burger.
We also found potential customers looking to try the iconic burger joint for the very first time.
We just heard real good stuff about it. It was good, and we were pretty excited to try it out, and pulled up and looked pretty dark.
It's a different scene here at TJ's Hamburgers, a community staple. It's lunchtime and this parking lot is completely empty. Now, faithful customers who have been coming in today to place their lunch orders have been met with the sign that says they are no longer able to stay open. The sign goes on to say, quote, "We are beyond grateful to have spent all these years with y'all," end quote. But no explanation for the closure.
Every time that I come, they were always busy. They always had business here, so I don't understand what happened.
This customer says TJ's Hamburgers was always busy, but now he can only speculate reasons for the shutdown.
Prices are up there. I think it's hard to make any restaurant go now.
The closure comes as a big surprise to many patrons we spoke to today who left empty-handed and with mixed emotions.
Kind of sad. It was really good. I always told my dad that we should bring him here, and now I guess he won't get to try it now.
We reached out to TJ's, but the number is disconnected. Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Cybersecurity threats seem to be affecting almost everything these days. So there is a cybersecurity council here in San Antonio working to try to combat that. The council was put together through the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. The council aims to help small businesses boost their cyber defenses through new initiatives and education. With the NSA and the FBI cyber field offices here in San Antonio and some top university programs, our city has actually become the nation's second largest cyber hub.
Every business is connected to the internet at this point if you want to succeed, especially if surviving through COVID. So you've got to keep your stuff safe so that your customers can find you and you can do business.
Because we have military present, because we have large companies present, but it's also because we have 8 different universities here in our region that have top-notch cybersecurity programs, 7 of which have been recognized by the National Security Agency.
The council's advice to protect yourself from cyber threats: be sure to update your devices regularly. The Biden administration must stop taking down razor wire at the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas, at least for now. Today, a federal court judge granted the state's motion to temporarily stop the removal of the razor wire until a preliminary injunction hearing is held. This is a temporary win for Texas. That hearing is scheduled for November 7th. The restraining order in place now expires November 13th, but it could be extended by the court. We'll see what happens. Meantime, a trial date for Attorney General Ken Paxton's long-running securities fraud case has now been set. A judge in Houston has scheduled that trial to start April 15th. Paxton is accused of defrauding investors who were backing a company called Servergy in 2011 when he was a state lawmaker. In 2015, soon after he became Attorney General, Paxton surrendered to authorities on 2 charges of securities fraud in excess of $100,000. He was also charged with a 3rd felony for advising or representing investors without properly registering. It has been called a miracle weight loss drug, Ozempic. You've probably heard about it. It's used to treat diabetes and obesity, but with its newfound popularity for general weight loss, scammers are now cashing in, prompting an international warning over this. Courtney Friedman explains the dangers of fake Ozempic.
An international warning about Fozempic, the term coining the fake version of the weight loss drug Ozempic, originally meant for diabetics, with the main component being semaglutide.
We do not know what they contain, what is the concentration, the sterility circumstances.
Dr. Carolina Solis Herrera is the chief endocrinologist with University Health and UT Health San Antonio. She says the rampant problem is fueled by a shortage of the legitimate drug. New weight loss popularity, just one of those factors.
And the shortage is historical between COVID, between the shortage of the device that goes inside the pen that was also not available.
With that low supply, criminals are now swooping in and creating fake products. This is what the Ozempic injectable pen looks like, and this is what the packaging looks like. The problem is you have to be careful because those fake products look very similar to this.
If it says semaglutide and it's not coming from the manufacturer Novo Nordisk, you shouldn't get it. They don't sell it online. You need a prescription from a specialized physician.
Opting for an off-brand option is a serious risk. Those injections can lower blood sugar, which legitimate semaglutide does not do.
If you have severe hypoglycemia and you're driving, you can pass out. You can have a motor vehicle accident. You can have a seizure. You can have more severe complications and even death.
So Liz Herrera wants to educate the community so people don't end up playing roulette with their health. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
We are now in the last few days of early voting for the November 7th election. Voters will see 14 propositions on the ballot that could either create or change state funding. There were also some local races to decide on, depending on your district. To see a full list of voting locations and a sample ballot, scan this QR code you see here. Early voting ends on November 3rd. Later this week here on the news at 6, Doc Talk. It is our series featuring your medical questions on any subject. You can scan this QR code to let us know what questions you want answered by local doctors. KSAT 12's Doc Talk airs Thursdays at 6:30. Coming up today at 6:30, a new KSAT Explains dives into the history of Israel and Gaza to try to give this devastating conflict a bit more context. There are thousands of years of history here that we can't possibly include in a few short minutes. But what we are going to do is look back at the 75 years since Israel became a nation. How did Gaza become a refugee population? The geography, the struggle for a two-state solution that still exists today.
The Jewish Israelis in this case accepted that. The Palestinians and the Arab states did not accept that solution. And that led to the 1948 war.
And that is where we start our timeline in this KSAT Explains. That's coming up at 6:30. Still ahead here on the news at 6 as well. TxDOT says more crashes are happening because drivers aren't paying attention. What the agency wants you to keep in mind, especially as the holidays approach. Here's a look at what's coming your way tonight on the Night Beat. She was once given top honors with the Fair Oaks Ranch Police Department, but that all changed after she filed a complaint. Tonight, Dylan Collier sits down with that officer who lost her job and explores the possible misconduct by the Fair Oaks Ranch police chief that she tried to expose. That's tonight at 10. TxDOT is reminding everyone to slow down and pay attention on the roads, especially if you are driving through work zones. According to TxDOT, last year there were over 13,000 traffic crashes in the Eagle Shale region. That includes Atascosa, Frio, McMullen, and Wilson counties. Those crashes resulted in 186 deaths and nearly 600 injuries. TxDOT says traffic deaths in our area account for almost 25% of the entire state's fatalities on Texas roads. The agency blames speeding and distracted driving as the top two contributing factors in these deadly crashes.
Drivers need to be able to pay attention to the road and weather conditions and, traffic around them, especially with these huge 18-wheelers that are driving along these energy sector.
TxDOT says the reason 18-wheelers play a part in a lot of these crashes is, of course, their size. Because of how big 18-wheelers are, they have more blind spots, they take up more room, and they tend to drive a little bit slower. You can help by following the speed limit, of course, staying focused on the road. Don't be on your phone. Experts also give large trucks plenty of space. Stay far enough away from them where you can safely go around. The road's a bit of a concern today with the wet weather we have seen, but everybody wondering about the timing of the cold temperatures. Sarah Spivey with Halloween tomorrow.
Thank you, Myra. Yes, how long is this cold weather going to last? I think a lot of people want to know that too. Sweaters are going to be useful until Friday. Today was the coldest day of our week, but you're still going to want a jacket, want a sweater until Friday. In fact, here's a look at those highs and lows. So tomorrow morning, 40, 58 in the afternoon. The reasons why sweaters are going to be useful until Friday is because we're still going to be dealing with those cold mornings, even though afternoons are going to regulate, be a little bit more comfortable by Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the 60s. It isn't until Friday that you'll want to shrug off that sweater. Highs will be back in the 70s, and by the weekend, our highs are going to be back at 80 degrees. If you've been here long enough, you know that this is not all that unusual to have to change the wardrobe throughout the week. So that's our first headline. Sweaters are going to be useful until Friday. However, for Halloween tomorrow, it'll be chilly but dry. So the rain is on its way out. You can see that we're still dealing with some rain near Gonzales County, but that is on its way out. Even some light rain nearer to Tilden, that's moving out of here, and skies will actually be clearing tomorrow too. I want to show you the weather setup though across the nation. That cold front is working its way across the Gulf of Mexico right now. It's not every day that temperatures in San Antonio are colder than temperatures in New York. New York City at 57 right now, and it's 46 in San Antonio. You can clearly see the cold core of air sweeping across the southeast there. So let me take you through your KSAT 12-hour forecast for tomorrow. You're going to wake up in San Antonio and it's going to be cold. You're going to want that heavier jacket. Temperatures right near 40 degrees, but we aren't really going to be dealing with rain during the day tomorrow. Really only a sprinkle or two possible early tomorrow morning. By 11 o'clock noon, skies are going to be clearing. We'll have sunny skies by lunch. It's still going to be in the 40s because we're still going to have a breezy wind from the north bringing in that colder air, but in the afternoon, 58 degrees and sunny skies. It's really not going to feel all that bad tomorrow. 58 is still chilly, but not nearly as cold as today with the rain. So what about everywhere else around San Antonio? In addition to San Antonio, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the upper 50s in Uvalde, Rock Springs, Kerrville, 57 in Cotulla. Again, some temperatures some 20 degrees cooler than the average of 77, 55 in Bernie and 55 in Bulverde, 59 in Petite. But everybody getting ready for trick-or-treating. Make sure to bundle up the kids. It is going to be chilly. However, we're not going to have to deal with that rain. That's the key there. So sunset at 6:48. After the sun sets, temperatures are going to fall into the 40s. So if you trick-or-treat early, just a light sweater, maybe light jacket. But if your kids are trick-or-treating a little bit later, they're going to need that heavier coat. That brings us to our third point. The Hill Country could see their first freeze Wednesday morning. That's our next big thing in the weather. Here's what I mean. Not tomorrow morning, but Wednesday morning. Up in the Hill Country, temperatures are going to drop to below freezing in areas like Kerrville and in Rock Springs. Still above freezing in San Antonio proper, but you zoom into Bexar County, and I do think those that live in the extreme northwest portion of Bexar County, we're talking areas like Leon Springs, Fair Oaks Ranch, Bernie, 32 degrees in Bernie, 32 in Bulverde, 30 in Comfort, and 30 in Kerrville. Just an hour or two at or below freezing, so a light freeze. Cover up that sensitive vegetation or bring it inside. Again, that's Wednesday morning, not tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, all of us will be above freezing. Then Wednesday afternoon, 63 and sunny. Back to the 80s on the weekend, but the good news is we get an extra hour sleep. Remember to set those clocks back. Hey, coming up, how much rain did areas around San Antonio see? Those details in a few.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Hard to believe Halloween is here and winter, apparently, but also Mary Rominger, the last week of the regular high school football season. Already?
I know. It went quick, and it sounds like there's some great football weather for games Thursday, Friday. There's a ton of action. We've officially entered the last week of the high school football season, one of the best times of the year, and our big game coverage game of the week features District 28 6A contenders. And the Dallas Cowboys have everyone's attention with the way they dominated the Rams yesterday. Next, a huge test against the Eagles in Philly.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
After dominating the Rams yesterday afternoon, the Dallas Cowboys are in a really good spot ahead of their looming Week 9 NFC showdown at the Eagles. Philadelphia owns the league's best record at 7-1, and just like Dallas, they are 3-0 when playing at home this season. Dak Prescott is 8-3 against Philly since becoming the Cowboys' starting QB in 2016. And fun fact, the two teams that have beaten Dallas this year own a combined 0-8 record since.
Excited for it. Anytime you play Philly, obviously in-division rival, know them well, they know us well. Last year, getting to play them, I guess, and then Jalen wasn't playing, and then vice versa. You know, when he's playing, I wasn't playing. Excited for this matchup. Yeah, it's fun. And anytime you go to Philly, it makes it just a little bit more, you know, a little bit more fun. So excited for it.
All right, the Houston Texans are now 3-4 after losing a close game to a previously winless Carolina Panthers team. The Texans had a 1-point lead midway through the fourth quarter before a crucial delay of game penalty on third down that took them out of field goal range and forced a punt, which set up a game-winning drive for the Panthers. Houston will look to bounce back against 3-4 Tampa Bay on Sunday.
I mean, it's NFL. You win and you lose some. I mean, it's not the end of the world, thank God. You're not going to the playoffs next week, so we got a lot of football left to play. And I think, I mean, we've showed our potential, but we got to, stay there. We can't keep going back. And I think maybe the bye week maybe slowed us down, but hopefully we just keep momentum, man. We play really good one week and then we play off the next. We can't do that if we want to be consistent and want to be playoff contenders.
There are intriguing matchups happening all throughout the state as we approach the last week of the high school football regular season. Like our big game coverage game of the week featuring Brandeis and Reagan. The Brandeis Broncos enter the final week of action 4-3 in District 28 6A competition, which means they are sitting at 4th in their district standings. After falling last week to Clark, the Broncos are quite motivated to make a statement in front of their home crowd by handing Reagan its first loss of the season.
It's good motivation. You never really lose a game. You always learn. So we learn from that, we take from that, and we build on. We go out practice, we work harder than we did last week, and we're going to go put it in a good game.
We have an opportunity to extend the season as long as we want to go, and we control our own destiny, as Coach Bruce has been saying to us. And I think that with that opportunity, we have our opportunity to extend our season as long as we want.
Here's the matchup. Brandeis hosting Reagan at 7:30 this Friday. Tonight, we will check in with the Rattlers amid their preparation, so be sure to tune in for that.
Yeah, we move on from today and come ready to play. Not an overall great performance by us.
I have all the confidence in the world that we're going to show back up in a couple of days and be ready to go.
In less than an hour, out west, the Diamondbacks hosting the Rangers for Game 3 of the World Series. The series is currently tied 1-1. The bump for Game 3 will feature Max Scherzer starting for Texas and rookie right-hander Brandon Pfaadt for the D-backs. First pitch is at 7:03 this evening inside Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The lead is up for grabs in the best-of-7 series, and we'll have the highlights tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Still to come here, KSAT explains. We're taking a look at the history between Gaza and Israel since Israel became a country 75 years ago. And how big is Gaza compared to San Antonio? Next.